This is Gilbert Andrew Garcia. Listen to my radio show, A Tip from Gilbert. Talk, inspiration, and prayer every Monday from 11 a.m. till noon on Houston's gospel leader, KWWJ. 1360 AM and streaming live on kwwj.org. Listen on the legendary KYOK 1140 AM and streaming live on kyokradio.org. KCOH 1230 AM, The Source. On San Geek Radio 95.1 FM 1460 AM. And Aliento Radio 101.7 FM and 1540 AM. Call in at 832-570-8075 and follow me on social media. See you then. All right, Houston, here we are again with Gilbert Garcia and another tip from me. Talk, inspiration, and prayer. Thank you, studio audience. We're going to be here. Of course, I have a very special guest. He's a good friend of mine, but in reality, he's a good friend of the communities. And of course, that is our former chief of fire department, Samuel Peña. Chief, welcome.
Well, great to be here with you, Gilbert.
Yeah, you know they say once a chief, always a chief. That's exactly right. And before we go into everything with Chief, is of course, as y'all know, we've talked a lot about Centerpoint. I'm going to be talking more about it in the next week or two to come because, we've now heard about the pond, which is, of course, where they're now, wooing state reps and they're giving money away to state reps. And of course, shame. And we're going to read out those names again of those board members because when the mayor says they got to be held accountable, well, we know who's they got to be accountable to, and the board members. So that's the one who hires those execs. And we're going to review how much money they're all making, too. And then, of course, we'll talk, I'm sure, more about Sheila Jackson Lee and what she means to all of us, because what an icon she is. And of course, we've all been talking about my sister-in-law, so I'm going to say a prayer for her again. She's undergoing cancer treatment, as we all know. She's had now 2 blood transfusions, and it's amazing how uplifting she is, how positive her attitude is. I can't describe it. Other than if it was me, I think I would be like angry at the Lord. I think I'd be crying but no, she is just, it's amazing. There's this aura of goodness around her. So I don't know if she's listening or not, but everyone feel free to bow your head and think about anyone in your family or any friend that you know that's going through any type of dreadful disease or anything else. So this is what's called a prayer for healing. Heavenly Father, I come before you with a heart burdened by illness. You are the great healer, and I place my trust in your loving hands. Grant me strength to endure this trial and courage to face each day. Pour out your healing grace upon my body, mind, and spirit. May your peace, which surpasses all understanding, fill my heart. In the midst of my weakness, be my strength. I surrender myself to your care, trusting that your love will sustain me. In Jesus' name, I pray. Amen. Amen. So let's get into Chief Peña. So first of all, Chief, how you doing?
We're doing good, Gilbert.
Yeah.
And first, let me say this. That look, we're lifting up your sister-in-law and your family in prayers, and I know that the good Lord is going to see her through.
Amen. Thank you for that. Yes. Thank you, Chief. You've had such a great run. Let me ask you this. You've been in the fire department how many years now?
So I've been in the fire service now for 30 years.
30 years? 30 years. You must have been 10 years old when you got in because you got all your hair and you're fit. Unlike me, you must have gotten very young.
It's the lack of stress.
Is that
yes?
Like being a fire department chief is no stress, of course.
Yeah. So I've been 30 years. This year it will be 30 years. I've been a fire chief actually. So I've been the longest serving fire chief for the city of Houston Fire Department in its history, almost 8 years. And before that, I was with El Paso. That's where I actually started my career, moved up the ranks, and was their chief for almost 4 years. So it's been a good run.
But let's go back for a second, if you don't mind.
Sure.
So you grew up in El Paso.
Born in Los Angeles, California.
Oh, you were born in. I apologize.
Yes, sir.
So you were born in Los Angeles. Is your family still there?
I have some family there, but most of them are back in El Paso. That's where my kids, my grandkids, my mom is still there. So that's really home. I grew up there since I was about 6 years old.
Okay, so you went to high school there and everything.
Absolutely.
Was it
Met my wife there?
Yep. Yeah. Amen. Was it a great place to grow up? I mean, did you have great memories of it?
I do, and it's still a very nice place. You know, it's much like Houston. It's a big small town.
Yeah,
that's the feel that you get there.
What struck me when I went to El Paso is how close and interrelated it is with Juarez.
Absolutely.
And unfortunately, these are meaner times, but in reality, that whole area is like one city.
It is.
It's phenomenal.
It is. It's one community. We have people that reside both in El Paso and in Juarez that cross over every day to go to work and commerce, and so it is one big community. And
it's beautiful.
It is.
And for those who do not know, of course, El Paso is the furthest part of Texas on the west side. And of course, Juarez is the border town in Mexico, right across the river, Rio Grande. And of course, it's a big city.
It is.
El Paso is a big city, but so is Juarez.
Juarez has over 2.2 million people.
Yeah, that's huge.
And El Paso is almost about 800,000. So, and it's also the largest international border metroplex in the country. And so, yeah, very diverse city. It is a beautiful town. We have mountains over there.
Yep.
Actually, the tail end of the Rocky Mountains ends there in the city of El Paso.
No kidding.
It does. And very there's really it's really a welcoming city.
What's interesting is, I don't know if this is true, but they say from like Beaumont to El Paso, it's closer to go from El Paso to like LA than it is El Paso to Beaumont.
Well,
I mean, I don't know if that's true, but that's just trying to say how big the state of Texas is.
So I have so El Paso is halfway between here, city of Houston, and Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
And I still, anecdotal story real quick. I had a family member back in LA, and during the pandemic, he was tired of being locked down, and so he calls and says, "Hey man, I'm going to go visit you." All right, I'm going to drive. Okay, we'll see you in a couple of days, right?
He didn't know.
So he didn't know.
He thought I'm just gonna go drive.
A couple of days trip. So he crosses into he hits El Paso and he gives me a call. He says, "Hey man, you better get the food ready. I'll be right there." I'm thinking he's in San Antonio or something. I said, "Where are you, man?" He says, "I just crossed into El Paso." I said, "Well, we'll see you here tomorrow, brother."
That's funny. I mean, it's true though. It's huge.
It is.
How wonderful. I think we have 2 callers already. I have a whole lot more to go through, but let's get the first caller is a Vicky. Is Vicky on the line?
Hey, what's up, Gilbert?
Oh, Vicky, how are you? You have me, Gilbert Garcia, of course, with Chief Peña. You probably know Vicky Cruz.
Hi, Vicky. Yes.
Go for it, Vicky. What do you got?
Oh man, I got everything. No,
we want to hear. We want to hear it all.
Man, you know what? Right now we're just going out there making heroes everywhere.
Let's talk about heroes because what a great program. And you're probably better to describe it, but she asked me to participate, and of course I participated a second time, and I need to take care of that circle with you there, Vicky. But these are young kids who have very difficult backgrounds, and I'll let her describe it because I don't want to say anything I can't, and you'll understand in a moment.
So, I mean,
you go.
I think right now, Gilbert, all kids are struggling right now. I mean, they're struggling whether they're living out in Webster, Clear Lake, all the way down into the juvie system. Kids are struggling. There's such a distraction. And so what Hero does, it teaches the children how to be helpful, encouraging, respectful, and on task at home, in the schools, and in the community, but most importantly themselves. So these kids are learning, and through partnerships, we are literally right now, you were at the bridge, right? The bridge for kids where we did the graduation, and you were there. Thank you so much for speaking to them. What we did for 4 weeks was go into these areas to talk to the kids about, hey, how do you ask for help? And I'm grateful for the partnership we have. We are literally signing in something to where when we go all over, our partnership with the bridge is going to allow us to continue to go into these apartment complex. We just graduated. We went into an apartment complex where our kids were serving. They were cleaning up. The apartment complex is going through.
Great.
Wow.
Man, vandalism. They are going through they're, you know, and I'm not going to say they're kids, but there's things that are happening, Peña, right there in the apartment complex. So what we do is those kids are learning how to help. We gave them a bag. We're like, hey, we're going to clean up. You're going to respect your little community right here. This is your community. We are Nothing But Bunk Cakes donated cupcakes to the kids. They went around passing those cupcakes around, and they learned empathy and compassion for the elderly. Well, it was beautiful.
It was one of the best things I've done to go talk to those kids. And, you know, it's funny. Sometimes you think you're doing something for your audience. I think I got more out of it being with them than they got listening to me. And so I can't wait to do it again. These are great kids. You know, they have various different difficulties in their family lives and so forth. And they're so respectful, and they listen, and those sorts of things that we're missing with our young people these days.
Vicky,
that's safety. Go ahead.
If I may, what a beautiful program, right? And both you and Gilbert mentioned something. You said teaching them how to ask for help. That is one of the most difficult things for us to learn, right? Is how to ask for help. One, and Gilbert, you said, you know, help and actually made you feel better.
Yep.
That's, to me, that's something that we miss, right? That we miss putting forth and having and teaching to these young kids is how good giving back makes you feel. That's probably one of the most selfish things you can do, right? Is to give of yourself because of the way it makes you feel. And that leadership and that mentorship that you guys are providing, that's what a beautiful program, Vicky.
And Sam, let me tell you this though, it's about the respect,
right?
You know, respecting yourself to set boundaries and knowing what no means no. Okay. And teaching them, when you respect others, whatever religion it is, whatever color they are, that respect is not taught. There is no integration when it comes to people coming over, people here. We were so full of diversity. Right. When have we ever sat down to talk to the kids to say it's okay to be different? It's okay to respect. But if we can't respect each other and encourage each other, how do we ever love each other?
And it begins with self-respect, right?
It begins with the self-respect, the self-encouragement. People, even the kids say, if we don't encourage ourselves, we can't encourage others, Ms. Cruz. And so this encouragement, the breakdown in the homes are happening daily. And these kids have to go home, go to school, and then just be as ugly as they were at home. And there's no guidance. There's no anything, distractions. So we teach them how to be on task. Like, what are you doing?
Absolutely.
And it's a transformation. Transformation is happening. And the last class we taught was in 4 hours. And they did it. I mean, they were out there within 4 hours. We executed the action of going out there, cleaning up the apartments, feeding, you know, cupcakes to our seniors, but we talk about it. So it's amazing.
Beautiful. And most of these kids, and please correct me if I'm wrong, are sort of maybe single parent families, people of color, African American, Hispanic. They're younger, and you know, in many ways, they're our future. But in many ways, if we don't invest with them, because they need some guidance and they want it.
Absolutely,
these kids are beautiful, beautiful smiles.
We all have our histories, right? And we all have our hard luck stories and stuff. But somewhere along the way, somebody took some interest in us and in our future. And I think that these types of programs, Vicky, and what you're doing and what Gilbert's doing with putting the word out about perseverance and persistence and grit is truly it could be life changing for some children.
Well, Sam, it started, Sam, when I was in the school district and a little boy during COVID. I was out there talking to them, right? We couldn't bring in parents, partners, programs, no one. And when I asked the little kids, hey, how's it going? 75% of that class raised their hand and they said, Miss Cruz, my grandpa died, Miss Cruz. That's, you know, my dad lost his job. My parents are divorcing, Miss Cruz. One little boy said, I don't want to live anymore.
Oh.
Yeah. He goes, I try to commit suicide. And so suicide is a word that's like easy. It's like it's too easy. Then this insecurity. They're watching everything on social media that literally tears down self-esteem.
Right.
But imagine giving back into the community, giving back to others and teaching them purpose and driving them into saying, hey, you know, I have identity and purpose and I have self-esteem that I can help someone else and make that difference.
Right.
Well, Vicky, let me ask you this. I want to give you a quick minute here. Is there a website or something if people want to learn about it or read up about it?
Yes, Mission One USA, all spelled out. Mission One USA, community unity in our community, and the way we bring the unity as a solution is our children. You know, I've been working with the homeless, the seniors, and everyone, and these kids are doing that. They are making packages right now. We have 30 lunch bags that Constable Garcia's office is picking up. So these kids are, putting it. They put a little encouraging note to encourage, and then they're making cards. We've got kids in Humble. I'm going to Montgomery County. They're going to be working. Everyone wants to get plugged in into saying our kids are the future. Our kids, we have to teach them how to give back, to take care of the seniors, because if not, it's going to become a selfish, me world.
Vicky, well, look, I happen to have some free time now. So I want to volunteer my time with you. And so I will reach out to you and see how I can help further this mission.
Let's do it. Okay. Sam. I have your number. I'm gonna call you right now. I'm gonna text you, say, yo, it's me.
Okay.
Vicky, thank you for calling in, my dear.
Hey, I love you guys. Hey, keep rocking and rolling, Gilbert. I love it. Ándale con ganas. Sam, we'll talk soon. Have lunch, okay?
Absolutely. Looking forward.
Appreciate it. Hey, listen, we got single bingo this Thursday, 6/22, Fountain Blue. We gotta sell as many tables, Gilbert.
Call me. You got it, my dear. Okay.
Bye-bye.
We have another caller. I think it's Isidro. Maybe that is the Isidro that we love and know. Isidro Garza, is that you? Isidro.
Mayor.
Isidro, you have me, Gilbert Garcia, with Chief Peña of our wonderful fire department. What do you got there, Isidro?
Well, the tip from Gilbert goes nationwide today, and the nation is waiting for Gilbert's tips in Chicago.
Woo!
There's a whole delegation waiting for you, so yes, we started when you went to Odessa, and you made with a state convention with LULAC, and you are so well liked. I'm not exaggerating. I have a bunch of texts going back and forth, and they're waiting for Gilbert. And I'm asking your permission to see if I can share your phone number with all the people that look up to you as one of our national leaders. Kind of commission.
Well, you give my number everywhere. In fact, Houston, I'm one of the only people that's in the public domain. I gave it when I was Metro chairman. I had people call me all the time, and my bus number is not working, and that's okay. My 713-443-4330. And I'll never forget, I'm a contributor to the CNBC, and they said to me, "Look, we hear you call the Bond King of Texas." And I said, "Well, I may be the Bond King of Texas, but I'm not the Bond King of 4030 Durness Way, because that's where my house is, of course." And my wife called me within like 3 minutes after that thing, saying, "Don't you give out our address on national TV?" And I'm like, "Honey, come on." But Isidro, that's very kind of you. I really appreciate that. But go ahead, Isidro. What do you got for us today?
Well, you deserve it, and of course, it's a very important day. I understand our county judge, Lina Hidalgo, is going to be speaking tonight at the convention.
How wonderful! Yes,
and so it would be great if you all team up and get that group that's there waiting for you. What time are you getting there?
Regrettably, so my partner Ruby Dang is there. She probably arrives now, and we have a meeting with the various state treasurers of national state treasurers.
Wow.
And so she'll be there, and then there's some things this afternoon. I don't get there till tomorrow morning. And then, of course, I'm seeing those state treasurers. We're seeing some of the people from Kamala Harris's group in a very private meeting. We're so thankful that we got the meeting. Of course, we got it a long time ago before she became our presidential candidate. And so, I mean, what a wonderful thing that is. We're seeing Reverend Al Sharpton, have a private meeting with him. We're going to a couple other events. It's going to be busy. It's going to be beautiful. And it's in Chicago. I think it's fantastic to have the profile to be out there as a party leader of the national, Democratic Party. to have our county judge doing that. I think that's great. I had heard the rumor she was going to be speaking. I didn't know for sure, and I didn't know what night, but how wonderful. Do you know what time that is, Isidro?
It's scheduled. You know that how those agendas go.
Yep.
They're always talking for positions.
Yep.
It's scheduled for 7, which is prime time. But that may change as the day goes by. But it's what an honor to have one of our Hispanic leaders, a first immigrant, county judge of the 3rd largest county in the United States, to be on the platform. That just hopefully spells out the future that she still has ahead of her. And it speaks for all of our community. We have great leaders in Adrian Garcia, Commissioner Adrian Garcia, Commissioner Leslie Briones. Leslie Briones, her future, political future, is whatever she wants to make of it. And in the mix, a business person like you that has done well, and we need one of the 3 legs in the stool is the economy. How are we doing in the economy? And I think you drive a great message that it is available for those people that keep their nose to the grindstone, as you have, and through your own bootstraps, you've been able to make it in a world that has not been friendly to the Hispanic community, and you've done very well. So we're very proud of you. I'm glad that you're going to be there, and I think once you get there, I'm going to send you the phone numbers of the people that have been asking for you. One of them is co-chair. You see what happened? Biden campaign when Kamala came in, they kept the same team, and the co-chair for the campaign is Julie Rodriguez Chavez. She is the granddaughter of Cesar Chavez, and her dad is there. He was one of the national leaders for the farm workers. So your message is going to go at the national level, and that's where it belongs. Right now, we really don't have a leader in the Hispanic community, and I think, hopefully I am correct, and God gives us the wisdom to be able to prophesy that one day Gilbert Garcia will be at that level.
Well, I'm hugging you on the phone because that's so beautiful to say. And, one of the other persons that we're going to be meeting with, and it's just when I say we, there's only like 3 or 4 of us, is Ms. Dolores Huerta, who, of course, yes, she used to, of course, be there in March with Cesar Chavez for years and years and years. She's still an icon, and everyone loves her. And it'll be my first time to meet her.
Yes. Well, you mentioned our name. We've been working. I sit on the Cesar Chavez Legacy and Educational Foundation, and we put together the biggest march in the United States in San Antonio every March. And I invite all the people that listen to your program to plan and take all your family, your kids, and all. My kids have been going to that march since they were in strollers, and their kids and grandkids. And it's just something good. It edifies. It makes you proud of the color of our skin, the blood that flows through our veins, the rich heritage that we come from, and also without sacrificing that, we are proud of American citizens.
Well, let me ask you this: when is it? Just so we know, give us a.
It is the last Saturday of March. Okay. March the 31st is Cesar Chavez's birthday. So we try to make it as close to that, and we also have to be cognizant of the fact that every now and then it turns out that Easter Sunday comes around that time also. So if it's that, we move it up a week, but it's usually the last Saturday of March, and we would love to have a huge delegation from Houston to go down there and really enjoy it.
What a deal. Well, Cito, thank you so much for calling in. And of course, please continue to call in. And thank you for all the great work that you do, LULAC does, Johnny Mata. Of course, I'm a proud member of his council. And thank you for everything.
Thank you, and I hope you have a blessed trip and make the impact that you at Chicago that you did in Odessa.
I'm on it, my friend. I won't let you down.
God bless you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Before we come back to you, Chief, if you don't mind, we have another caller already. Is there a Kathy? Kathy, are you on?
Kathy? Hello? Yeah, it's kind of loud. You're going to lower a little bit. One moment.
Kathy, are you there? Kathy, are you there? Kathy, are you there?
What's up, people?
Hey, Kathy, what are you doing?
Hey, so guys, I just saw, I tuned in and I saw two of my kings and two of my favorite Latinas. So this is Dr. Kathy Tatum.
Oh,
I'm sure y'all know who it is. So, I'm calling in. I love the young lady that has her program for the children. And we always have to highlight, organizations, because a lot of times the same organizations at press conferences we don't know. And unfortunately, I'm getting back-to-back, as you know, HISD closed down a lot of the wraparound services, and a lot of the teachers and cyber are trying to get to my warehouse. And we need to highlight more nonprofits that are boots on the ground, because I know for sure at least 10 are closing their doors at the end of next month because they're not being highlighted. And what happens, especially in the city of Houston and a lot across the United States, is the ones that are getting highlighted, that are getting millions, they use our smaller nonprofits with a database. And I couldn't tell you how many of them. They don't invite us to the ribbon cutting. They don't invite us to the press conference. But what they do is we praise them and we give them bands. We give them all kinds of stuff. But in the database, they send us all of their referrals. And you never see them leave their office. And we suffer as smaller nonprofits. But I also was tuning in. I want to thank publicly on your show. Chief Peña has always been there for all people. What you guys don't see is after the event and text messages. And I'm just going to give you an example. After this hurricane, of course, Chief knows, every single time after a disaster, after his press conference, I was like, those people that you're standing next to, tell them to get on out here. And he knows it too.
Yep.
And I sit there, and this last time, our assisted and active living was hot because, the seniors are 3 floors or 4 floors. When the lights go out, the electricity goes out and the elevator goes out. So as soon as he saw me, I go, you got 5 minutes to call me back, Chief. He tells me. And as soon as that happens, he sent me 4 or 5 people of emergency. We were able to get the Metro buses out there. Y'all don't see that. We had Metro buses out there at 11 p.m., 12 p.m. I turned around, was able to get the food. I was able to turn around and get the ice. So those are the things that they're not talking about Chief doing, and he is doing. If you're a leader, he's going to return your call. If you're a leader and you're a nonprofit that got resources, he's trying to set it up. And he knows people try to ice me out, and I don't even care. And I make sure, hey, I'm over here at this multi-center. Tell them they can arrest me. I'm going to get these resources for our community. So I want to thank you publicly, as always. Thank you for your retirement. But at the end of the day, I know you and your family ain't going nowhere. Just like Gilbert, he ain't going nowhere. I think Gilbert, go ahead, and send me a nonprofit check, because I got some things that I need to do. So
I tell you, I'm ready. I mean, Chief, sometimes I hear someone like Kathy, and I'm like, I'm ready to take the hill. Just point that one. Kathy, for real. You're involved with so many nonprofits.
Yes.
What inspired you? Like, how? I mean, were you just were your parents, or you just saw things and you just said, "I'm going to make a difference"?
I've helped formed over 323 nonprofits in the state of Texas. I'm a founder of one of the largest minority nonprofits of 29,000 501c3s across the United States, 8 schools in Africa, one school in India. And this is the thing. I am the face of a lot of things because a lot of people see me, but my experience, as if you didn't hear, I was abused. So I am Black and Puerto Rican. And in my house, being part Puerto Rican and being light-skinned with green eyes in the Black community was the opposite. So a lot of times people look at me and go, wow, you're so pretty. But in my household, my mom abused me. So she had mental health. So I was trapped in a basement. I was shot 7 times, put in a grave, in and out of CPS. And so that motivates me. And the reason why I call so many elected officials or people in power, because in our lower income and underserved communities, people failed me. And I grew up that teachers were the ones that fed me. Schools were open. I was able to go in and out of schools. I was able to go to churches. Now, so many doors are closed and so many organizations are on the outskirts of the city that you need a van to get to. So a lot of these red tapes that are even the multi-centers, I told them we put a lot of money in multi-centers, but that didn't do us any good when the lights went out, when they didn't have a generator. Yeah. So we have to empower our leaders. Like where I'm at, I'm in Acres Home area, but I'm surrounded by low income. I'm building a shopping center, which is 10 million. I got 5 million left of nothing but nonprofits, veterans, domestic violence, human trafficking. I'm next to a park trying to get soccer. Nobody else does that. So a lot of the minority nonprofits, they're working out of their cars, they're working out of their house, and they are the liaisons, maybe get $200 or $300 from these major nonprofits. It's not fair.
No, it's not. And, and they're the front line because they're the ones that are direct contact where your money really goes a long way to impact somebody's life. Well, you are what they call a walking angel for all that you do. I think it's phenomenal. And call me and let me support what you're doing.
Ms. Kathy
You
Lee.
always have. So you supported me in the past. We were able to get shelving with the money that you sent us. We were able to get wagons. And I had put that on my Facebook and I go, y'all probably laugh at wagons. But when you're going up and down the stairs trying to, like right now, I'm on my way to go to pick up food of like 300 pounds, take it to the Women's Center and then drop off some other things with cleaning supplies and other stuff. But at the end of the day, it takes all of us. So being Black and Latino, people go, oh, well, you're Black, you're Latino. No, I am what you call BIPOC. I am absolutely everything and above. And it takes us to speak about what we're doing in the community and highlight it. So that's why I said I wanted to call in and tell Chief, y'all didn't have no idea that he was getting those buses up there. You had no idea that we was putting food. I mean, from Pasadena to Humble, we were going back and forth, making sure food is done. But without those buses and making sure those seniors are on buses, I couldn't do what I'm doing. So it is absolutely a teamwork makes the dream work of situation.
Ms. Kathy Lee, if I may, real quickly, I'm sorry to interrupt. But, I just wanted to say that, look, let me publicly thank you for who you are, Ms. Kathy Lee. You, in a time when it's difficult to get people to get motivated to assist, you are leading the charge, and you are truly the spark, right? That we need. You mentioned that I always take your call. I don't have any choice but to take your call.
Because you call back and come up.
Because you are.
You can screenshot it. You can screenshot it where I say you got 10 minutes to call me back. If you get off this, you do one more press conference, I'm going to come get you. It's okay to tell them know what I said.
But you know what? Your heart is always in the right place. Your heart is always about getting the help to where it's needed. And I truly appreciated working with you. And I was blessed to have you out there, boots on the ground and just saying, hey, look, this is where the problems are. Give us some assistance. And it's one community, right? It takes all of us to ensure that we are delivering the service for those that are most in need.
And both of y'all, please come out and visit what I'm doing. Like I said, I'm down to 5 million on this shopping center. Everybody the barriers that are going up. It's trying to get permits for my conventional kitchen. I've been waiting a year. People don't realize those things. Our veterans, I signed up with many veterans that have came out and they want to work. My warehouse is high. It does not have AC, so I'm always looking for those vans. And this will let you know, Chief, please call me back for 9/11. What we're doing with Collaborating Voices Foundation. We're giving our first responders free mattresses and free recliners. So we're definitely want to do that and make sure that the firehouses and our cancer places have those in place. So let us know if you want to participate in that also. And you too, Gilbert.
You're the best.
Amen.
Appreciate you, my friend.
Thank you for calling in.
Thank you, guys.
You're an angel.
Bye-bye.
Yes,
Thank you. Bye-bye. Let's come back I know we have 2 more callers, but before we do that, what inspired you to go into the fire service?
You know what, Gilbert? I think, the heart to serve has always been with me, I believe. And the inspiration was my parents. We got hardworking parents, immigrants. I'm a first-generation U.S. citizen. They came over and, even with meager means, they always ensured that we were out helping either family or neighbors or, So that's what I think that's where we learned it.
But why the fire department? Was there someone that just said you should look into the fire department, or was it just generally? It seems like every little boy, actually little girl in school, wants to be a firefighter. What was it?
I wish I had a great story about how I always wanted to be a firefighter, but the truth is that when I left the Air Force, I needed a job. I had a wife and 2 kids, and they like to eat sometimes 3 times a day. And
especially if there's any boys in that family. Go ahead.
So I went back to El Paso and I applied everywhere. And the fire department in El Paso was the first one to call. And that's look, the rest is history. But it's been I've been blessed. I've been blessed to sometimes God closes some doors, but He opens others that you don't know what the purpose is or what the reason is. But I didn't question God's will, and it's worked out great. I mean, from where I came from, there's a little sense of pride, that being the first Latino firefighter or fire chief here in the city of Houston, and to lead the 3rd largest fire department in the country, there's a special pride in that, and that I try to represent not only my community but certainly my family in the right way, and to take the opportunity to give back to the community and serve them and put them as a priority has been the honor of my life.
And you were there a long time. Thank you, Studio Office. You were there a long time. Because, it's one of those things where things like superintendents of schools, police chief, fire chief, you're on the front line.
Right.
And no matter what you do, there's always going to be critics somehow, some way.
Right.
But you were the longest, if I'm correct, you were the longest serving fire chief in the city of Houston's history.
Yeah, I have been.
Yeah,
Yes,
I think it just goes back
Special
to
pride.
how much everyone really loved you and how much you got around, and you had this respect of the rank and file. All those things come together, and that's what I think made you the longest serving fire chief.
Well, it's important. Look, this job, much like what you're doing here, it's about relationships and it's about community, right? And we have to be present with the people that we're serving and listening to what their expectations are, 1, and 2, what the issues are that we can try to use our position and our influence to try to make it better. And so, yeah, it's important to be out there. But look, I love this town. I love the people in this town. And it's been really the honor of my lifetime to be here at the last 8 years.
Wonderful. So you were with the department in El Paso how long?
22 years.
Wow. And relatively speaking, give us a bigger than a bread box. How big was that fire department? And is that 22 years? Is that relative to, is that a long time? Not a long time? Is it median?
Yeah.
Just in general.
No, it
Seems like a long time.
It seems like a long time. And the El Paso Fire Department is about 1,000 firefighters, right? So it's about a quarter of the size of Houston's, and a 22-year plus career is about average.
So you went up the ranks, and then you became the fire chief?
Was appointed as fire chief in 2013, and served there until the Mayor Turner was elected, and then he reached out and asked if I wanted to come out here and be his fire chief. And I again, why God opened that door, I don't know. But who am I to question His will? We came here. And really, we try to make a positive impact in this organization. And I'm very proud of the work that we did in the last 8 years in terms of preparing the fire department to be able to respond to floods, built out a flood response team, built out a flood response resource, increased the hazmat unit. We focused a lot on firefighter health and safety because cancer is still the number one killer.
Is that right?
It is.
Just because of they're breathing in the
environment that they work in, right? And so we purchased gear washers for every fire station, exhaust systems for every fire station, medical physicals and cancer screenings for every firefighter free of charge. So we try to focus on what's important, and what's important is taking care of our people because they're the ones that go out and take care of this community.
That's right.
And so, look, I wish we could have done more, but we were always focused on trying to move the ball forward little by little. And I believe that we left a good foundation for the next fire chief to continue successfully.
Oh, it's going to be great. We got another caller. Was there an Alex? Is there an Alex on the line?
Hello?
Alex, you got me a tip from Gilbert with Chief Peña. What you got there for us?
I just wanted to ask Chief Peña what was one of the most memorable or like his favorite time as chief over the years.
Well, that's a good question, Alex. I think that the most memorable thing was Harvey. I mean, like I said, I grew up in El Paso, Texas. That's high desert. Harvey hit when I was, it was about 7 months after I got here. And I'm thinking, what is all this wet stuff coming from the sky?
Yeah.
And why does it
so
keep
much?
falling?
Yeah,
Right?
why is it so much?
Funny story, Alex. So I was at the Emergency Operations Center, and it was maybe day 3 or something. And my chaplain was there, and I guess I looked stressed out, right?
Yeah.
Because he comes over, puts his hand on my shoulder, and he says, Chief, what do you need? And I said, well, we need a prayer. Right? He says, I did. I prayed for rain. I said, okay, well,
now you need to pray for it to stop raining.
Yeah, but I think the most memorable thing, Alex, was just the response I got from the community when we were out there meeting the community, putting a face to the fire department, listening to the issues that our communities was facing, and what the things that we could assist them with. That has been the most memorable. Just the reception that we got coming in from the outside. And as I mentioned earlier, it's Houston is a big, small town, and I love the heart of this city. I love the people, their outlook, their grit, their welcoming nature, and I can't say enough about the city of Houston.
That's a beautiful, beautiful story.
Well, thank you so much for your service, and I appreciate everything that you did for us during your tenure.
Thank you, Alex.
Thank you for calling, Alex. I manage money for various fire departments all around. And by the way, I used to be on the pension board of the Dallas Fire and Police, and I manage money for the El Paso Fire and Police. Okay. And so I'm very familiar with fire departments and so forth.
Well, I thank you for that.
Well, it's wonderful. And I have taken a ride on the trucks and things. I've seen the fire stations and the inside. I have bought them pizza, all those things. And of course, here in Houston, and I saw that she wrote us earlier, but Leticia Blausa, she was always doing these loterias for the fire departments, and I'm always supporting those. At the end of the day, there's something about the fire department, because talk about teamwork. Right. If they're not working together, their lives are at stake and are in danger. So when you think about an NFL team where you see teams and they got to work together, and well, that's what being a fire department is. Right. They work together. They live together off and on, as you know. It's a wonderful, beautiful thing, because when your life's on the line, you want your brother or your sister there with you to fight that fire. I mean, it's really amazing.
Absolutely. It is about teamwork, and it's just coordinating and trying to bring some sort of stability to chaos, a chaotic situation. And look, I can't say enough about the work that that firefighters do across the industry. They're problem solvers. When people can't figure out who to call 911. It's going to be the fire department that shows up. And so for them to do what they do and be able to bring, again, some stability to chaos and their critical thinking abilities, I cannot say enough about the work the firefighters do.
And there's approximately 6,000 people in the department?
This department is about 4,000 people.
4,000, excuse me. And it's about $600 million budget?
It's over $630 million this year. Yes, large budget.
That is huge. That's bigger than some fire departments of many cities. And bigger than the whole city's
budget for most cities.
That's right. That is so huge. Yeah. Hold that thought, because how do you keep it all together as a leader? And we're going to do that right after this. We have Alan on the line. Alan, is there an Alan on the line?
How you doing, sir?
Alan, we're doing great. You got me, Gilbert Garcia, with Chief Peña. What do you got there, pal?
Chief Peña, how you doing,
good
sir?
This Alan.
Is Alan. We have gone a misfit together, man.
Oh, Alan, yes. That's
congratulations on the retirement.
Hey, thank you, Alan. I appreciate you, brother. I hope you're still tearing it up at the gym, man.
Absolutely, doing what I can, trying to keep up with you, man.
Alan, what's going on with you these days? What's the latest?
Just keeping things going, man, and we're working on our big initiative right now is building that Juneteenth Hall of Fame monument, which we committed to putting a portion of that to dedicate to building that Sheila Jackson Lee statue.
Where's that going to be? Let us know.
So I'm glad you asked that, Gilbert. Right now, we are looking at a few different sites. Our big goal and our big aspiration would be to get a land donation from somebody. And I know Sheila Jackson Lee was able to get that done for other people like the Gospel Museum and some others that have found land to put great things like that on it. That was an initiative that we were working on over the last few years while she was here with the Juneteenth Walk of Fame, similar to the Hall of Fame that's in Hollywood, but for minority entrepreneurs. So that is our goal. That's what we're working on right now, Gilbert.
What a beautiful thing to think about, a Walk of Fame. That would be wonderful. And, you know, I played the clip. I don't think I'll have time to do it today, but maybe we will. But I know we'll play it again of the last interview that Sheila Jackson Lee had on CNN, and it was celebrating Juneteenth. And when you hear her, it just gives you, you know, chills. And I believe you mentioned the last time I saw you that you had a clip of hers of something that you just felt so profound. Am I right? And give us that context again.
Absolutely. You need to, and I sent it to your.
Did you?
She sent it to me. To your, yeah.
Would you send
If
it
you
again?
could play-
Because somehow I didn't get it.
Okay.
But go ahead. Tell us about it, though.
So this speech, so a couple of years ago, I can remember Gilbert sitting in Tulsa, Oklahoma, when she was talking about Juneteenth becoming a federal holiday. And there were people in the back that were kind of laughing, saying, you know, it's hard enough to get a federal holiday, even harder to get a, you know, one for a minority or African Americans.
Right.
And 90 days later, it was passed because people don't know that she was working on that for decades.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And it got passed and the kind of stars aligned. And you're going to see some of that happen with some of the other legislation she was working on as well. But fast forward during that time, after that talk in Tulsa, and this was in 2021, I said, I would love to work with you. And she didn't know who I was at that time. We'd seen each other in passing. But I said, I'd love to work with you on the Juneteenth Hall of Fame. And when she said that, she said, absolutely, we can do it. A year later, we created the Juneteenth Hall of Fame. And during that time, that was a very, very iconic moment. She had a speech, and it was last year. She ran it with me a couple years. She was there all 3 years while we ran it together. And this speech is, and I'm biased because it was at our award show, but I believe this speech was as iconic as the MLK I Have a Dream speech.
Wow.
Because she talked about the future and what was going to happen in Juneteenth. I've been on the Juneteenth Planning Committee for the last 3 years as well. She talked about not just celebrating Juneteenth, but it being a whole month, similar to other large gatherings like Essence Festival. Everybody goes to New Orleans, right? But really understanding that and really driving economic growth globally right here from Houston. So you're going to have to play that clip, Gilbert. It's going to go in the history books. And this year we were working on taking that to the next level, which all of our honorees for the last 3 and forever on, creating the Walk of Fame and actually give them their own piece of legacy forever and housing that right here in Houston. So,
you know, let me have you. I want to get you on the show. I think this is a topic in and of itself. And you know what? I'll play the clip at the show that I do with you. So we're going to call you to get you on the next 2 to 3 weeks. I think it would be just great. And of course, she's done so much. And you know, the funny thing about Juneteenth is people don't realize when they say, "Oh, St. Juneteenth, what is that?" At the end of the day, that's like an American celebration. It's not about you know, oh, it's just. Right. The slaves are free. No, it's about if that's our history, and it's not about critical race theory. That is American history, and some of the things that we may not be proud of, because how can we be proud of it? But at least we can be proud of how it. You know, we can honor it by remembering it. And so I want to talk all about that, if you don't mind.
Absolutely, I'd love to.
Well,
love to.
consider that done, my friend. Al, thank you for calling in, and we're going to take a couple more callers here.
All right, you have a great one. Chief Peña, we'll see you later. Have a great one, man.
Alan, good talking to you,
Thank
buddy.
you, Alan.
Be safe.
So let's go back, Chief. So when you went from El Paso to Houston, did you think, man, I'm going from 1,000 to 4,000? I mean,
Right.
were you thinking, I mean, am I going to be able to do this? Or were you just thinking, you know what, I'm ready? I mean, how can
Yeah.
that's such a big jump,
Yeah.
and to come in Houston where it's a big media market,
Right.
and everybody's watching, you know, to see, can he do it? And I'm sure there were lots of things about a person of color and can he really do it and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
But what was it like when you first came in?
Well, look, it certainly was, you know, concerning, right?
Yep.
When I accepted the job, and I was a little apprehensive, but I understood that the issues that the Houston Fire Department was facing were the same issues that the El Paso Fire Department was facing. I mean, the scale was totally different, right? It's 4 times the size, but I had experience in addressing those gaps and those issues: health and safety, fleet, facilities, professional development. Those are things that the industry as a whole is dealing with. Now we add the new dimension of recruitment,
Mhm.
because that is something that everybody across the industry, across the world, really is suffering with in proper recruitment and retention, both in public safety. And we still haven't narrowed down the why. But so I knew I had the skill set to be able to start addressing those issues. The political environment was a lot different here.
Right.
Right. In El Paso, we worked under a city manager, so there was a buffer between the electeds and the department heads.
Right.
Here, I reported directly to the mayor, and so that was a little bit different, but not overwhelming. And look, we focused on trying to do the things that we needed to do as a fire chief. The community doesn't care how the sausage is made.
Right.
All they care about was, when I call 911, there's not going to be any question about what's going to happen. Somebody's going to show up to my door. And so I stayed focused in that respect. Of course, I still have to work with the people that approve our budgets.
Mhm.
And this job, especially this position, is about relationships. It's about maintaining those relationships, not only with the people that approve our budgets. It's not a quid pro quo, but they have to understand that when you make a recommendation, that we're going to be open and transparent about those recommendations and for the betterment of the city and the community that we serve. And I try to stay above board, above reproach in that respect. A lot of times, you know, internally with the association and with the elected officials, it wasn't, we didn't agree on everything. But there was always the reason for my perspective and my position was always voiced in an open and honest way. And look, we have to have those types of conversations and that type of relationship to be able to manage the 3rd largest department in the country.
Well, what's interesting, and I've lived in Houston since 1990. And I've got to say, and I can say it, and people know that I'm going to say what I'm going to say anyway. But at the end of the day, it's not because you're here. You were the only chief that was really the people's chief. You were everywhere.
Thank you.
You were at every event, and you had a smile, and you were from everything from things with young kids to ribbon cutting to helping with food bank stuff.
Right.
You know, you were everywhere.
Right.
And I congratulate you, because it shows how much you really love the community and just being with people.
Absolutely.
And that's why so many people know you.
Right.
Because it's not always been like that.
Well, look, again, we that's who we serve, and the fire department cannot serve adequately without making those connections and having those relationships. And people, one thing I found in my 54 years, Gilbert, is that you can't trust somebody you don't know.
Amen.
And so it's important for us to be out there for people to understand who Sam Peña is, and to hopefully know where my heart is.
Yep.
Right. And that helps in us being able to serve our community better.
No wonder you're still a baby at 54. No wonder you have all your hair. Now, I always talk about my hair. I don't know why. Maybe because I just like dream to have your head in your hair. But, it's hard to believe 54 and all the years you have served, right? I mean, can you imagine when you were young, Sam, and, you're just joining the fire department, and then here you were at the top of the mountain.
Well,
and think about all the young people along the way you've inspired.
And I'm glad you brought up that point, Gilbert, because it took somebody to take some interest, and it took people to be role models.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why it was so critical for me to hold this position and give it the dignity and the respect that it deserves, because the community and not only people that look like us, right, but the community as a whole, young children of whatever background they look to people in those positions to represent the best as humans and the best in government.
That's right. No doubt. Let's go. We have another. Is there a Tiffany on the line? Tiffany, are you there?
Yes, I am.
How are you, Tiffany? You got me, Gilbert Garcia, with Chief Peña.
Hey, guys, I was just wondering, now that you're retired, what do you have plans to do?
Oh, my God. That's probably the number one question we all want to know. Chief, you're too young to be, what are you going to do? You got so much to offer.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
No, well, look, I'm not going to retire.
That's right. You can't.
No, right now it's just it's a pivot from the fire department and the Houston Fire Department, and we're rewiring. Right, is the proper term, I guess, because we're going to look to do something else. I love serving. Wherever I end up, it's going to be in a service capacity. And if you think about it, Gilbert, we all are servants in some form, right? You and your radio show, you're doing a service to our community and bringing all these issues to light and talking about them, because that's how we're going to address them. In your professional life, you're serving those that are depending on you to make the right decisions. And so it doesn't matter whether you're a baker or whether you're the fire chief of a major city. You are a servant to somebody else. So we have to take a special interest in the work that we do and try to do our best each and every day.
And you're still a representative to the firefighters of the Americas, right? And so you're still have that capacity. Tell us about that.
Yeah. So I'm still the board member of the Metropolitan Fire Chiefs Association. And I will be representing the Metro and the fire service in Chile, in Santiago, Chile, at the beginning of next month.
That's wonderful.
Yes, Organización de Bomberos Americanos.
Bomberos, of course, means firefighters.
Firefighters, yes. And so, again, it's everything we do is about relationships, and we're trying to increase the networking with people and fire departments across the Americas. And try to share information and resources, right? Because it improves the safety of our firefighters and it improves their ability to service their communities.
And best practices, because,
Absolutely.
We'd like to think we know it all, but we know enough to know that we don't know it all. And I'm sure there are many fire departments, maybe they're not our size, but yet they have some good ideas.
Yes,
and we just got to be open to those good ideas.
Absolutely. Humility is important, right? Because I think the saying is that we don't live long enough to make all the mistakes ourselves. Right. So if we,
amen. That's right. That's exactly right.
If we can learn from others and share those lessons learned, we're just going to improve safety for everybody and ultimately service to our communities.
How wonderful. And there are some big fire departments, I'm sure, the Americas.
There are.
Whether it's Rio de Janeiro, whether it's, I mean, there's got to be some very big ones. Bogota, there's got to be some very big ones.
There are, but they're lacking resources and focus. And so that's the purpose of these visits. And it's not only the interaction and the networking, but also to impart best practices. And again, learning from each other.
Chief, unfortunately, you know what they say? When you're having a great time, time flies.
That's right.
Guess what? Our hour's over.
Wow.
Isn't it hard to believe? I think you just walked in. You're going to be looking at the camera. If someone wants to be a firefighter, what do you want to say to Houston here at the end? And if we have to cut my commercial at the end, let's cut it. Number one, if somebody wants to be a firefighter, what do they call? And what do you want to tell Houston here?
Look, first of all, I just want to tell Houston that it's been the honor of my life to serve the community and the residents and the city of Houston. I could not be more proud of the work that the firefighters do. I leave this position with a heart full of memories and appreciation for the love that this community has given me and for the support for our first responders. And the Houston Fire Department is recruiting.
Yeah.
Right. They need firefighters. HFDcareers.org. If you have the heart to serve, if you want to serve your community in a capacity that allows you to make a positive impact every single day, HFDcareers.org. And again, my love to the city of Houston.
You heard it here first, and we'll see you next time on A
This
Tip
is
from
Gilbert
Gilbert.
Andrew Garcia. Listen to my radio show, A Tip from Gilbert. Talk, inspiration, and prayer every Monday from 11 a.m. till noon on Houston's gospel leader, KWWJ. 1360 AM and streaming live on kwwj.org. Listen on the legendary KYOK 1140 AM and streaming live on kyokradio.org. KCOH 1230 AM, The Source. On Send Geek Radio 95.1 FM 1460 AM. And Aliento Radio 101.7 FM and 1540 AM. Call in at 832-570-8075 and follow me on social media. See you then.